So you want to raise some baby chicks. Let's look at the setup. In order to raise baby chicks, you're going to need a brooder. This is a 45-gallon Sterilite container. It has wheels on this end over here. We drilled holes in the sides to provide ventilation when we put the top on. As you can see, I don't keep the top on now because they can't jump out. We made a door, and we have a ramp for them to be able to get out when they go outside. That's not necessary. This is necessary. You need a brooder of some kind. On the inside of the brooder, you're going to want to have a nice layer of pine shavings to absorb their excrement, a food container, a water container, and a heat source. I'm using a heat plate. It simulates them going up under the mama hen to get warm. They can touch their backs to the bottom of this heat plate. This is a standard feeder that you can find at Tractor Supply. It feeds 28 chicks, but I wouldn't recommend putting 28 chicks in this size container. I would recommend 12 to 15 in this container. My husband, Mr. Slapout, built this to raise the waterer up off of the ground, off of the floor, so that they don't kick the pine shavings into it. Alternately, you could set your water on top of the heat plate. Just keep in mind that it's going to weigh it down and push it down into the wood chips, and the babies might have a hard time getting under. So just keep an eye on that, because as they jump up, drink water, and jump down, this will wiggle and fall down into the pine shavings and make it difficult for them to get underneath when they need to get warm. This is basic setup for baby chicks. There are many ways to get your baby chicks. Our latest batch I ordered from Hoover Hatchery through the Tractor Supply. They were delivered to my local post office. The post office gave me a call, and I went and picked them up from the post office. They will not deliver them to your home. Another way to get your baby chicks is to hatch them out of an incubator. You can order hatching eggs online as well. And then you incur also the cost of the incubator and the time necessary to tend to them. Another way to get your baby chicks is to find a local breeder. We have a local breeder that's less than a mile away, and we have procured our chicks from her in the past. I wanted to get these from the online ordering because I wanted to find out how smooth the transition would go. The transaction was extremely smooth. Our chicks showed up very healthy. As you can see, they are very active. Nobody's died yet. And the people at the post office were very helpful. Happy chicks don't make a lot of noise. If you notice that they're chirping a lot, then what you can do is you can isolate the chirper. Let's see, who's chirping right now? Let's assume it's this one. You can isolate the chirper and put them under the heat plate. Usually they're chirping because they're not happy. I know they have clean food. I know they have clean water. The only reason that they wouldn't be happy is because maybe they're cold. So I give them or scared. So I give them the opportunity to go in where they can soothe themselves. If they were out with their mama, she would do the same thing, because a chirping chick will attract predators. And that's a natural thing for the mama hen to do, is to quiet the chicks down. Now that we've talked about your basic setup and how to procure your chicks, let's talk about their water. When you first bring them home, you can make up a gallon in another container. Of course, this doesn't hold a gallon. Make up a gallon of water with a half a cup of honey, 3 tablespoons of vinegar, and 2 to 3 crushed cloves of garlic. We call that magic water. When we first bring the chicks home and take them out of the box, we dip their beaks in the water and then put them down, showing them where their water is. It's very easy to do. You just take the chick and you put their beak in the water. Now the chick knows where the water is. When they're being shipped, they haven't eaten or drank water ever in their lives. When a baby chick hatches out of the egg, they have all the nutrition they need from the yolk sac in order to keep them healthy for 3 days. After that, they're going to need food and water regularly. Another thing that they need in their food is chick grit. This is chick grit. Chick grit is finely crushed granite. It's insoluble, which means it will not dissolve in water. Chick grit enables them to process their food because chickens don't have teeth. So they eat their food and it goes into their gizzard. That's where the chick grit hangs out. The grit moves around in their gizzard. The gizzard is a muscle and it squeezes. And the chick grit grinds up the food so that it can be digested. Just sprinkle the grit over the top of the food. That way the chicks all get some in their gizzard to help with their food digestion. I just brought these chicks home 3 hours ago. You can see that they have already found the food. They're very active. They're not chirping loudly. They've settled in nicely. And I would say that they're happy. I think it'll be fun to watch these little babies grow up. These are Easter eggers, and they will add some beautiful colored eggs in with our eggs we already get. These chicks will lay brown, green, or blue eggs.